Welcome to Touch Base Tuesdays, where we touch base on Tuesdays. I want to share a couple things with you today. First being that I am life deep. I am preparing for my solo poetry show this Thursday at the Triad Theater in New York City. There are still tickets available. Link in bio or wherever the platform you're currently on showcases its links. And here's a look at what life deep looks like for me. This is me. That's my water. I know it shouldn't be near all those. Fine, we're gonna move it to the other side. Oh God, we're gonna move it over here. So it's not near the wires because that has happened before. Okay, once there was water there. Okay, this is my set list. This is me prepping. These are the poems. These are, just my notes. And yes, that's my altar and that's a list. It's a list of what I'm looking for in a partner. It's sitting on my altar. Some days I read it, some days it just sits there staring at me. Anyway, so that was number one. I'd love to see you there. And number two, I've been thinking about the power of the mind and the body lately. I am someone who has dealt with different kinds of chronic pain at various points in my life. And I deal with illness anxiety, which used to be known as hypochondria. I am what one would call a hypochondriac. It's not funny. It's funny. It's not funny. And I'm really working on addressing this illness anxiety. And an opportunity has arisen where I fell a bunch of weeks ago and I injured myself. I skinned both of my knees. I hurt my right arm and wrist. And it's all a metaphor. I mean, I was like crossing the street and it's like a metaphor for stepping into the next stage of my life. And I braced myself with my writing arm and wrist. This is the arm that will get me to the next stage of my life as a writer, blah, 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 blah. So I understand all the spiritual metaphors here, but there was a real fall and I truly did hurt myself. And the pain has only subsisted because of, I'm still learning all the language, but like neurofeedback loops or something it's called. I'm not the doctor here, but there's a mind-body connection. The injury is healed. And the pain was almost entirely gone by the end of being on vacation. Wonder why? And then it started flaring back up again when I got home. And so I'm listening to podcasts, I'm reading stuff, I'm doing deep internal work. I've gone to yoga the last 2 days, and while in yoga, I say to myself, I am safe, I am okay, and I try to smile. That's harder because I get really frustrated, and then I get angry at myself, and then I get miserable, and then I get doomsday. So all of which is to say, pain is real. It's not made up. And I'm personally really curious about what is the suffering I don't need to have? What is the pain that I can actually interrupt? There is systemic pain and suffering that we cause. And I also wonder when we interrupt those pain patterns that are cyclical and a default and not necessarily what we need. How do we help interrupt our collective suffering? Because the collective suffering doesn't need to be happening. It's unconscionable what we put each other through. And so while I continue to do collective work and work in groups and learning and organizing around interrupting the collective and systemic suffering and pain, I'm really looking to do that in myself, because I don't want to always feel like I'm in pain or dealing with another injury. I want to enjoy my body and treat it with love and gratitude instead of assuming the worst for it. And I want that for humanity too. That we all have access to our full abundance and stop hoarding fucking resources and causing intentional harm that causes insurmountable, devastating suffering. Kenya Hiratson, may it be so. D. Barty, take care, and I hope to see you on Thursday. Lots of love.